Coming to you from deep inside the bowels of a great big empty. Get ready for another episode of The Home Defense Show with Skip Coryell.
And that was Golden Glenn, the official announcer of the Home Defense Show, and I'm your host, Skip Coryell, author of 22 books, Marine Corps veteran, founder of the Second Amendment March, proud father of 7, grandfather to 19 and counting, and as a special bonus, I'm also madly in love with my own wife. My priorities in life are God, family, and country, in that order, and I hereby promise to never compromise in my convictions. I may go broke, but I'll never go woke. And joining me today is my faithful co-host and adoring wife, Sara. Sara, how do you like the heat, the summer heat?
Oh, you know me in the summer heat. My goodness. There's a reason I live so far north.
Well, it's a good thing that you do live far north.
Yeah, well, that's where you live. That's
Because south, man, it's you grew up on the Oregon coast where it's like cool.
50 degrees and overcast or in a cloud, you know.
So your personal body thermostat is set at 50 degrees.
I am very happy with 50 degrees and I love the rain. I do.
Yeah, well, I do in the spring because it grows the mushrooms. But other than that, man, I could live on like 60s and 70s my whole life and I would be
okay. It's a
happy.
little warm, but it's all right.
Yeah, well, you will acclimate 5-10 years tops.
You think so?
Yeah. Well, it's only been 25, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking no. Sorry.
I'm trying to be positive.
Okay. Well, I did eventually figure out that I could develop a tan. So
okay.
I don't think it's what most people would call a tan, but compared to what it used to be.
You have a wonderful tan,
is
honey.
possible.
You do.
No, but it used to be much worse.
Yeah, well, you ever watch that old cartoon Casper the Friendly Ghost?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have, compared to him, you have a really nice tan.
Yeah. I don't think that's saying much, but thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, Sara, enough of the weather, enough of suntans. What's on the show today?
Well, today we are talking to firearms instructor and gun writer Fred Mastison from Arizona. Then in the shootingclasses.com self-defense report, we will be talking to firearms instructor Joel Fulton from Freedom Firearms, where we get some expert advice on how not to go to prison while defending your home.
Yeah, that's segment 3 with Joel is really good. You folks are going to want to listen to that. It's funny in a sad kind of a way. And Fred Mastison, he's going to tell us all about bear hunting in Canada and what it's like to carry firearms in Canada.
Oh,
they are not a real gun-friendly place.
Yeah.
But he's going to tell us firsthand what's going on up there, our neighbors to the north.
Good information.
All right. Well, but before we get too far into the show, let's thank our sponsors, United States Concealed Carry Association, shootingclasses.com, Center Shot Indoor Gun Range, and Apple Tree Media. All right. What's in the news today, Sara? What do you got for us?
Well, when you let law enforcement catch criminals, you will get less crime. John R. Lott Jr.
Oh, John Lott. He's good. He's good. That was at the Crime Prevention Research Center. Yeah, John's good. Keep going.
Excellent. Murder rates are plummeting. While we still have more than half a year to go, Kash Patel, the FBI's director, says that the U.S. is on track to have the lowest murder rate ever. The current record low occurred in 2014 when the FBI reported a murder rate of 4.45 per 100,000. The question is, why? Law enforcement matters, but it is probably also that Trump is deporting criminal illegal aliens. According to Patel, let good cops be cops is the answer. I'm going to let you, the agents, the police officers, the sheriffs, go out there and do the work you so badly want to do. And I'm going to give you the resources you need to do it. And I'm going to take away the politicization and weaponization. And that's what we've done.
Sounds like there's a new sheriff in town.
Indeed.
And he's actually doing his job, so that's good.
Yeah. Instead of placing a third of FBI agents in the D.C. area.
Isn't that ridiculous?
Yeah.
A third of every FBI agent.
I'm sure it's dangerous.
Yeah, but all those FBI agents didn't make it any safer.
Well, let me continue with the paragraph.
All right, go ahead.
Instead of placing a third of FBI agents in the D.C. area, Patel has moved them out across the country to where the crime is occurring. Good thinking. A recent Biden administration document that Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard declassified shows that law enforcement resources were being spent on non-criminal activities of conservative Catholics, people attending school board meetings, and flagging those who use symbols like 2A and imagery, referencing the Second Amendment. The FBI sent a memo to over 1,000 employees nationwide instructing them to target conservative Catholics. Can you believe that?
I do. I remember, watching the news when it was happening. It wasn't on mainstream media, but it was, all over the internet, and it was disgusting. I mean, we had crime, up the butt, and they're going after, parents at PTA meetings, anyone who, uses the term Second Amendment, basically patriots, patriotic Americans, they were going after.
Crazy. The Trump administration has also been ending DEI and other interventions that the Biden administration was pushing on police departments. You let law enforcement catch criminals, making it riskier for criminals to commit crime, and you will get less crime. But there's another reason. Deporting criminal illegals may cause some illegals to lay low so that they don't risk getting caught. As the Wall Street Journal noted, ICE operations have received so much attention, prompting migrants to be more cautious, according to agents and leaders.
So we have cautious criminals now. That's good because right now we have like blatant, bold criminals, and that makes them a lot more dangerous. So
Right.
it's good they're like keeping their head down, but not forever.
A little fear is very healthy.
Yeah.
Since President Trump's January 20, 2025 inauguration, the FBI has actively invested over 1 million hours collaborating with ICE, DEA, and local police to arrest more than 10,000 illegal aliens. A lot of these illegals have criminal backgrounds, and if they cut back on the amount of time they are committing to reducing the risks of getting caught, it could have a noticeable impact on crime rates. Reducing crime isn't rocket science. If you make it riskier for criminals to commit crime, you will get less crime. Letting police focus on going after criminals matters. Getting serious about illegal aliens who are committing crimes can't be ignored.
Yeah, that reminds me of when I was refereeing high school and college soccer games. Remember that time in my life? Did that for like 15 years. And the big life lesson that I learned from that is what you allow, you teach.
Mm.
So if I would see someone commit a foul or I just missed it and I didn't call the foul, they would become more bold and you'd get more fouls. So the more you don't catch, the more you don't punish, the more bad behavior you get.
It's like they test a little bit.
Yeah.
And see
They say,
if
okay,
nobody gets in trouble
yeah,
for that, then
it's
fine.
like, is he calling a tight game? Am I going to get in trouble for this? If not, then hey, why not do it?
This is really just human, right? I mean,
Yeah, it's just human nature.
push the boundaries a little.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like he's got things well in hand, and it's just going to get better
I hope so.
as long as they don't capitulate to all of these stupid rioters that are all over the country.
I haven't seen President Trump capitulate very often.
Yeah, it's like if this were a stare down contest, he hasn't blinked yet.
No, I don't think he's. Yeah, they're not really
He's not
registered for
afraid.
this
I mean, what are they going to do to him? Try and put him in prison, impeach him. Been there, done that, got the T-shirt, right? He's like inoculated from everything that they can possibly do to him. And he doesn't have to be reelected. So he just doesn't care. And I think he just learned so much the first time. I liked Trump 1.0, but I like Trump 2.0
even better.
much better.
Yeah,
The new and improved
he
Trump.
learned a lot in that intermediate.
Oh,
4 years.
without a doubt.
Mm.
That was pretty good news,
Yeah,
aside from all the crime and, but hey, it's going in the right direction, so I'm happy.
I thought that. I mean, just reading this article made me think. If I had a little boy and he wanted to be a cop, you remember back in the days when little boys wanted to be cops?
Oh, yeah, I was one of those.
Yeah, so like in the last little bit, it seems like if your son wanted to be a cop, he'd be like, "No, honey, don't do that," but you're not going to be telling your kid that. If we're going to treat our cops with dignity and respect and allow them to do the job that they so much want to do,
Yeah.
then you can encourage the good boys with good character to become the cops that they would like to be. I mean,
Well, you don't want your kid to be a cop and have him be the Lone Ranger. It's like him
Mhm.
against the world
No.
without any, backing or anything like that. And you remember, Cedar talked about it a little bit,
Mhm.
and we steered him away from that. That was a few years back
Yeah.
when Biden was president. It's like, no, this is not a good time to be a cop,
It's a sad time to be a cop, but
but it's getting better.
yes, that
It's
is
getting
good.
better.
Glory to God.
All right. Hey, it's onward and upward now. Go ahead and talk to us about our home defense show, Hero of the Week.
Oh, you guys are going to love this story. In Atlanta, January 8th, 2013, a mother of two has been hailed a hero by her husband after she shot an intruder in their Loganville, Georgia home last Friday afternoon. She protected the kids. She did what she was supposed to do as a responsible, prepared gun owner, said her husband, Donnie Herman, in an interview with ABC's Atlanta affiliate, WSB-TV. According to Herman and the Walton County Sheriff's Office incident report, Melinda Herman was working at home when a man began to ring the doorbell. She called her husband at work, who told her to gather their 9-year-old twins, a boy and a girl, and go hide. All three of them went into an upstairs crawl space, and Melinda brought along a 38 caliber handgun to the hiding place. Her husband, meanwhile, called the police. In the 911 recording, Herman can be heard saying, "She shot him. She's shooting him. She's shooting him. Shoot him again."
I like that. Call me morbid, but yeah, that's what I'd be telling you. I'd say, shoot him again. Shoot him again.
I wonder if it was hard for him. I mean, in some ways, he's kind of helpless because she's there on site, and all he can do is
Yeah.
listen
Yeah. I
and
mean,
hope that
because
something
his whole
happens.
family could have died
Oh, yeah.
right there.
I heard him pleading, her husband said to the 911 operator. He was screaming. The man allegedly broke into the house and was rummaging around before making his way to the crawl space where he found the mother and children hiding. The perpetrator opens that door, and of course, at that time, he's staring at her, her two children, and a .38 revolver, said Walton County Sheriff Joe Chapman to WSB TV. Melinda Herman shot the intruder 5 times, hitting him in the face and neck. Chapman said she told the man if he moved, she would shoot him again, although she had run out of bullets. The guy is heard telling her to quit shooting, said Chapman. The intruder, who police identified as 32-year-old Paul Slater, managed to get to his car and, as he tried to flee, crashed into a tree. Deputies later found him in a neighbor's yard. Melinda Herman and her children, in the meantime, had sought refuge in a neighbor's home. Her life is saved, and our kids' lives are saved, and that's all I can say, said Donnie Herman. Slater is currently at the Gwinnett Medical Center receiving treatment for his injuries, which deputies described as serious. A family member told WSB-TV that Slater was on a ventilator and had endured puncture wounds to his lungs, liver, and stomach.
That's pretty good shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I imagine it was
think she was-
probably just from a few feet away, would be my guess.
At crawl space.
Yeah.
He's a big guy. We saw the video. He's a big guy.
Well, she retreated as far as she possibly could.
Yeah.
I mean, where are you going to go from a crawl space when you got 2 9-year-olds with you? You can't go anywhere.
The report said that she had retreated behind a locked bedroom door and a locked bathroom
Yep.
door into the crawl space.
Yes, and he,
Regular burglar. I would think he would go after whatever it was he came for, but instead he's chasing these people through all
well,
these locked doors.
and in the other article that we listened to, this was a hardened criminal. He'd been arrested 6 times before, and he'd also served 6 months for something else.
Just that year?
It was the prior year, yeah. Yeah, he was a career criminal. So this is, I get a sense of satisfaction when a hardened criminal comes after a woman and 2 children. They retreat, they retreat, they retreat. He still comes after them. She shoots him 5 times in the face and the body, and then he begs her to stop shooting. That's poetic justice to me. I mean, 'cause he had it coming. He did
have it
everything he shouldn't have done.
He needed to stop a very,
Yeah.
very, very long time ago. Yes.
Well, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking,
She went behind 2 sets of locked doors and she's hiding her children.
so do you feel sorry for this guy that's on life support?
I can feel sorry for him, but I am very happy that she was able to protect her children. She did
Yeah.
the right thing. She definitely did. And I'm sure, like her husband said, she was still shook up about it, and I'm sure she was. She all but killed a man, maybe had, but she
Well,
had
she's
to.
probably traumatized for life now.
Right. She's not
And
gonna
the
feel safe in
kids.
that house. Yeah. How are they going to feel safe there?
Yeah. Usually when something like that happens, the family ends up selling the house and moving.
Yeah, I would think so because you just feel always compromised in that space.
Yeah, every time you walk into that room.
You're gonna remember that creepy
Yeah.
thing happening and the terror of
Yeah,
some guy trying to
exactly.
be.
So if you were in that situation, what would you have done?
Hopefully, just what she did. I think she did exactly the thing she should have done. I'm I'm wishing that the kid had to have not. I'm trying to figure out how he followed the 9-year-old up the stairs. Like why she didn't already have the 9-year-old with her, but maybe she was
Well,
calling for him.
yeah,
I mean,
well,
9-year-olds move on their own.
it's a two-story house,
Yeah,
probably with a
it's
basement,
just
so they
weird.
probably weren't all together, and
Yeah.
she probably yelled to the kid, follow me.
Yeah, but that's the best you can do in that
Oh, yeah.
situation. So, I mean, she had to go get the gun and get ready.
She got the gun and she got on the phone with her husband.
Yeah,
I don't see anything that she did wrong with this.
and
I
they
mean,
had presence of mind to lock the doors.
yes.
They could have
Well,
forgot
that guy went through 3 locked doors.
Right, the house too.
The house door, the bedroom door, the bathroom door.
I wonder if they knew him somehow. Like maybe he.
No,
that's true.
no, they did not know this guy
Mm.
at all. He was begging for it.
Do you think he had been watching the house or something? And knew
It's
the-
possible, but that's just a guess.
Why would he chase the kid?
Because maybe he wanted to hurt them. There are some sick people out there, Sarah. A woman with 2 kids. Okay, I can think of some reasons why he was chasing them.
Well, I mean, they're calling him a burglar, but I'm like, he doesn't seem like a burglar. That's chasing a
Well,
person.
yeah, it's a news article. It's a news article.
I guess that's all they could prove is that he was obviously
Yeah,
breaking and entering.
yeah.
But
Well, and he's not talking. He's on life support,
Yeah.
so the one side of the story is probably all they're going to get. And hey, the evidence supports, the woman's story. So
yeah, I think she did everything she could
It's
to
cut and
not
dry.
hurt him. It wasn't like she was standing in her living room saying, "Get out of my house." She was retreated all the way, as far as she could.
So she would be the heroine of the week
That's
then.
right, absolutely.
And I think we should give an honorable mention to the father.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, her husband did a good job, taught her how to shoot, bought her a gun.
Yeah.
Who does that remind you of?
Oh, yeah. You.
And you.
Well, thankfully we haven't had to test it out yet, though. I don't know if I'd be quick enough, but
It's probably never going to happen. But if it does, you'll think about your kids
yeah.
and you'll do fine. Okay? All right. Well, that was exciting. Sarah, what's coming up next?
Next, we're talking to firearms instructor and gun writer Fred Mastison from Arizona. Then, in the shootingclasses.com self-defense report, we'll be talking to firearms instructor Joel Fulton from Freedom Firearms, where we get some expert advice on how to not go to prison while defending your home.
Yeah, that's what we were just talking about, defending your home, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. In the meantime, God bless and stay safe because we will be right back.
Firearms training should be easy. Instructors can focus on teaching and not worry about all the complex paperwork and management behind the scenes. Just pull the trigger and let us do the administrative work. Welcome to shootingclasses.com.
At Center Shot Gun Range, we are passionate about training. Don't know where to start? We offer a 1-hour new shooter seminar to introduce you to the world of firearms and help you find training opportunities specific to you. Concealed carry, home defense, firearm safety, AR-15, private one-on-one training, custom training, or maybe you're on a security team looking to protect your church or business. We even offer weekday morning and evening classes. Center Shot Gun Range has you covered. Start your journey at centershotgunrange.com.
Firearms training should be easy. Instructors can focus on teaching and not worry about all the complex paperwork and management behind the scenes. Just pull the trigger and let us do the administrative work. Welcome to shootingclasses.com.
Attention business owners. Are you leaving your website open to security issues and hacking due to a lack of maintenance or overseas outsourcing? Don't let that happen to your business. Choose experienced U.S.-based website developers that can customize your website to fit your specific needs. Appletree MediaWorks has been growing businesses online since 2009. With over 80 years of combined experience, their team conducts constant research and development to keep up with ever-changing online threats. Your website deserves the best protection available. Call Appletree MediaWorks today at 877-977-1364 to keep your website secure and grow your business online. Or visit appletree.media.
Avoid danger, save lives, and keep your loved ones safe. If this sounds good to you, you sound good to me, and I'd like to help you do those things. Avoid danger, save lives, and keep your loved ones safe. If you're looking for more excitement in your life, we have nothing to offer you. But if you are a thoughtful, responsible, nonviolent man or woman, we'd love to teach you what to do if something crazy happens. More importantly, we'd like to teach you what not to do. We currently have over 500,000 members. They are doctors and single moms and firemen and grandmothers and veterans and Democrats and Republicans and members of every faith. But the one thing they all have in common is that they know exactly what to do if something crazy happens. When you're with one of our members, you are safe. Our members know how to de-escalate situations. They know how to calm things down. We are the United States Concealed Carry Association. See what we're all about at usconcealedcarry.com.
Discover the little-known backstory of the U.S. Concealed Carry Association at usconcealedcarry.com.
The mere sound of his voice makes women swoon and men storm the gates of hell. Welcome back to the Home Defense Show with Skip Coryell.
And that was the beautiful and sultry voice of Golden Glenn, the official announcer of the Home Defense Show. Folks, we live in a dangerous world, and I want you to be able to protect and defend the ones you love. And that's why I have this show. It's my way of empowering you to accomplish one of your primary jobs in life. You are a protector and a defender. All right, listeners, before we get too far into the show, don't forget to check out our sponsors, United States Concealed Carry Association, shootingclasses.com, Center Shot Indoor Gun Range, and Apple Tree Media. Without our sponsors, this show wouldn't be on the air, so we thank you all. And now I'd like to welcome back firearms instructor and author Fred Mastison from the great state of Arizona. Fred, welcome back to the Home Defense Show.
Thank you very much. Always a pleasure to be here.
Well, yeah, but you have to say that because I'm listening.
No,
but is it really?
I really enjoy visiting with you. And,
Okay.
you know, I'm fortunate. I get to be on quite a few shows. I'm not sure why, but the questions you have, you drive the show really well. It's fun to talk and it's very comfortable. So I appreciate that.
All right. Well, that's not what my second wife said, but that's okay. I believe you. I believe you.
Excellent.
All right. You know, Fred, the more I learn about you, the more interested I am. So that's good news. You do quite a few things. I mean, you live there in Arizona. You're brave in the heat, and God bless you for that. But you know, you're an outdoor writer, a hunting writer, a gun writer. You know, and I'm a novelist primarily. So writing interests me. And you write quite a bit of articles. Talk about your writing for a while.
Well, I'm currently a staff writer for Outlaw Outdoors. For a couple decades or more, I was a freelance writer. I wrote for pretty much everybody across the board in the outdoor space. So you name the magazine, and more than likely I've written for them. It's been a pretty cool life, I'll be honest with you. I stumbled into it. I was asked by a publisher at one point. We had met at SHOT Show about 300 years ago, and they asked me if I would do just one piece for them on a new pistol being released, and I did. That turned into 2, that turned into 5, and so on and so on. You see where it's at now. So I think I'm pushing probably close to 1,800 printed articles now, articles in circulation. So it's a pretty good life. I really enjoy it. I get to write about things I have passion about. My current position with Outlaw Outdoors, my editor, Linus, is a phenomenal guy. It's really nice because they kind of let me off my chain. They don't really give me a lot of restrictions on what I have to write about or what they need to write about. If we have a gun coming out on embargo or something like that, normally I get tagged on that, which I enjoy. But more times than not, I get to write about whatever interests me, and that's a good fit for me.
Yeah. So you said I could mention any magazine, and you've written for them. So I can just name off a few here. How about, let me see, Playboy. Have you written for Playboy?
Well, let's keep it in the firearms industry.
Okay. You know, you got to be careful what you say on this show, Fred.
I've got an article in Popular Mechanics from 1924. I've got an article in Cigar Magazine. There's some outside the industry stuff I've done. but for the most part, it's been primarily in the firearms and outdoors world.
You
Not
know,
so much on the Playboy side.
I'm just messing with you
I
because,
know I'm not quite
it
that dynamic.
well, it's fun. It's just fun, right? But
Oh, sure.
uh there's you just went on a bear hunt in Canada. Tell
Yes,
us
I
about
did.
your Canadian bear hunt.
Well, I hunt like so many other people do, but I've never hunted bears. And being here in Arizona, and I'm an outdoorsman, so even being wherever I've lived across the years, I've seen bears. We've all seen bears. But here in Arizona, if I see a bear in the backcountry, it's 24, maybe a big one's 30 inches or so. And I consider that a big bear. I mean, it's an apex predator. But when I went to Canada, I was not prepared for the sheer size of these black bears and honestly, the numbers. So I would be in the backcountry here in Arizona for I'd be out there for 3 days, and I might maybe occasionally see one bear. On my first night out when we were in Canada, I saw 6 bear in about 4 hours.
Hmm.
And once again, they were ginormous. So I was there as a guest of Mossberg, Trigicon, and Hornady. They sponsored the hunt. We went up to Alberta, northern Alberta, to a place called High Level. It's a teeny tiny town way up on the edge of the Northern Territory, and it was a beautiful area. Poplar forest, really, really dense. I mean, really dense to the point where it's almost unnerving because you can't really see too far. And once again, when you're on the ground, especially when you're first going in, when you're on the ground, you've got to get a round in your rifle or a round in your shotgun, and you're kind of making your way in because almost every time we went in, there was a bear already in the area. So it was exciting. I really enjoy that. So this fit my personality quite nice.
Yeah.
We were given they provided us 2 tags too, so we got to shoot 2 bears.
Oh, that's nice. I've lived in Michigan. That's about as far north as you can go before you get to Canada, but you were much further north there. We have a growing herd of black bears here in Michigan, but I live in southern Michigan, and every once in a while someone will see a black bear down here. But
Yeah.
I have been whitetail deer hunting, every fall of my life. And I'm 67. So, but I've never seen a black bear in the wild. So you just don't see them that much. And the ones that you do see, they're not big black bears. What would you, pound wise, what are the 2 bears that you shot, Fred?
The largest bear was north of 400 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, and on his hind feet, legs up and stuff, he was almost probably a little over 10 feet tall. I mean,
Wow.
they were ginormous. I mean, I seem like I'm going on about it, but I was honestly caught off guard. Linda Powell had told me she was with Mossberg, and she had told me about how many bears and that these are big bears, and you can take that at face value. And like, yeah, okay, but until you see these bears, I mean, they literally would have like a 55-gallon drum in the area as kind of a marker on how big these bears were. In their world, if the bear didn't go above the top of the barrel, it wasn't considered a big bear.
Hmm.
So these were pretty big. I think overall we had 6 shooters, and I think overall by the end of we were done, I think we'd seen 52 bears.
Wow.
So
Wow.
it was bear rich territory. I'll just say that.
Well, to me, any bear that outweighs me and has big, sharp teeth is a big bear.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know, I had a lot of people say, "Oh, they're so cute. Why would you shoot that?" I'm like, well, first off, it's a matter of conservation.
Yeah.
It's cubs are out, and these large older males are killing the cubs. I mean, by design,
Mm.
that's what they do. They try to get the female, the sow, back in heat so they can breed again. So, it's a matter of population control. They like us to take older, mature male bears, and that's what we did. But it was thrilling. The first, I used 2 different guns on the hunt, which was a lot of fun. So Linda Powell and I actually brought our individual guns, and then once we had taken our first bears, we traded. So my first bear I got with a tactical shotgun, the Mossberg 940 Pro. the new version of the 940 12 gauge, and I used a 1 ounce slug from Hornady, and it worked exceptionally well. In fact, my shot wasn't very far because of the density of the forest. It was probably 25, 30 yards in that range, and the slug passed right through.
That seems like an unusual firearm choice for that. Is
Well,
that common or
shotguns,
not?
well, to a degree, it's not the most common, but a 1 ounce slug or a shotgun slug is a very effective weapon. I mean, I think a lot of people dismiss shotguns, and I specifically used the tactical gun. And I even used a Trijicon RMR red dot as my optic. And I did that specifically because I wanted to point out that the tactical world and the hunting world really aren't that different. I'd done this a couple of years ago on a hunt in California. I use a tactical rifle, tactical optics, and I get a great black-tailed deer because serious hunters, they spend as much time, training, and money on their equipment as most serious precision shooters or even designated marksmen. I've seen hunters come out with custom guns with custom barrels and Night Force optics. Because if you get a chance, for example, with me, this is the first time, potentially the last time I could ever hunt black bear. I wanted to have the best equipment I could because it's a chance of a lifetime. And if you're spending, tens of thousands of dollars to go to Africa, for example, you want to make sure that your gun is up to the challenge. So that's why I used that. And I found out later from Trijicon, the rep from Trijicon was there, Eddie Stevenson. I was the first person. So I used the RMR HD, and I was the first person to take large dangerous game in the world with RMR HD. So that was a little feather in my cap. I'm not sure what I can do with that. It doesn't fit on a resume, but it was unique.
Well, you can take that to Starbucks, and along with $7, you can get a cup of coffee with that.
I know that's what I'm thinking about doing. They'll be very impressed too, I'm sure.
Well, I have been hunting, with a shotgun my whole life because I live in southern Michigan, and in the southern half of Michigan, you can't use a high-powered rifle.
Yeah.
So for most of my life, I'd use a 1 ounce slug with a shotgun, and almost every deer that I take with that, you get a pass-through shot on it, and boy, it'll really do a number.
No, it really did. The second bear I took, my large bear, was with the 450 Bushmaster out of a shorter 16 and a quarter inch barrel. And my gosh, I mean, the slug did a job, but that Bushmaster is a bear thumper, my friend. That bear, I hit him. He was actually walking away. This is almost embarrassing to admit, but I was so desperate. I'm like, oh my God, don't walk away, because all I had in my scope was a rump, and I didn't want to shoot him in the rump.
Mm-hmm.
And I was begging for him to turn, give me a broadside, and I literally went, bah. And he turned and looked at me like I was a moron. And when he did that, I drilled him. He jumped and howled and walked about, bound about 6 feet and fell over. That, and the hole that thing left was a stopper. So while I liked the 12 gauge, in all honesty, for bear, my next bear hunt is definitely going to be with the Bushmaster. It was quite the round.
So I've never hunted with the 450 Bushmaster. I hunt every year with the 350 Legend, but what's the muzzle velocity on the 450? Do you know offhand? It must be close to 2,600 with.
I think it's 2,650. I want to make sure before I make a fool of myself here.
Well, you could ask the bear. He would probably know firsthand.
Yeah, he's not talking too much right now. He's in the process of being turned into a carpet. And my other bear I'm going to have turned into just a pelt. Velocity at muzzle. Now this is out of a 20-inch barrel. This is 2,200. So it's still screaming, but the energy at muzzle is 28. At 100 yards, it's still north of 1,800 foot-pounds. So I shot him about 50 yards. So it's still probably north of 2,000 pounds of foot energy at 1,800 feet per second.
Well, that'll do it.
Yeah, it's not a long-range round. Obviously, it's big and fat and slow, but it did the job. I used the FTX round, and I got great penetration. And I'm thinking that in the middle of the pass-through, and they didn't pass through, but in the middle of penetration, I shot him a little bit of an angle and it caught in his shoulder. And when we skinned him, we actually found the round halfway protruding out of the other side. So it did not pass through. So I collected the round.
Yeah, Fred, so do you judged on that, based on that, do you think that the 350 Legend would be a little light for a bear that size?
No, honestly, I think because of the velocity you have on it, it's got sufficient mass. I think it would. I think it actually would be a decent bear round. The bigger, if you get into some really big bears, though, it might be a little light. We always, you know how it is. We always get ready. We immediately prep for a follow-up shot because we don't want a wounded animal running away. But especially you get two rounds of that in it. It's nobody's walking away. Nothing's walking away.
Yeah.
But for a first shot, I would go probably a little heavier.
Yeah. I've never traveled to Canada. Well, actually, let me take that back. One time, I think I was 5 years old, and we drove through Canada on our way to upstate New York.
Yeah.
But back then it was different. You're talking, this is like, in the early 60s.
Yeah.
Now it's a little different just crossing the border now. What kind of hoops did you have to jump through to bring firearms and that kind of thing?
Well, I'll be honest with you, it was pleasantly easy. Now, I had done all my footwork beforehand. I filled out all my paperwork. But once we arrived in Edmonton, which is where our jumping off point was, I went through customs there. The customs agents in Canada were just like you'd expect from Canadians. They were very friendly, inquisitive about why I was because I brought the shotgun. They were like, "Did you bring another gun?" They were halfway joking about it. Very friendly, very straightforward. There was like a $25 fee to bring a gun in or something ridiculous like that. But other than that, it was very simple. And now coming out, so when we fly out of Edmonton, and I found out several other places around the world, you can actually clear customs in that country. So when we were all done, went back to Edmonton, we cleared U.S. customs in Edmonton, in Canada, which was very nice because I flew into Minneapolis as my layover point, and I didn't have to clear customs again. It was very nice, and once again, it was friendly. The groups, the size of the traffic, the amount of traffic was dramatically smaller, because it's not just a dumping point for 10 different countries. It's people from Canada going back to the U.S. So the process was very, very easy. I did have something interesting happen though. As I was sitting there talking to my customs agent, we were literally at that point just talking. 5 gentlemen from somewhere here in the U.S. They rolled up, they opened their cases, and they had 5 suppressors in their case.
Wow!
And they didn't realize that you couldn't have suppressors in Canada. And what was really interesting is the fact that the customs agent there made no big fuss about it. He says, "Hey, here's what we'll do. You can't have them. We're going to box them up. We're going to have you fill out this paperwork, and we actually export them back to you." And essentially, all they charged him was a shipping fee. There was no fine. There was nothing. So going into Canada and coming out of Canada was very easy to do with firearms. Yeah. Now, the airlines were a different story. The airline themselves, the people were friendly as heck. And I got in without issue.
Canadian Airlines or American Airlines, friend?
This was an American airline. I'll try not to name them, WestJet. But the people were extremely friendly. I mean, their staff, they need to teach classes to American Airlines. But the problem was my flight went flawlessly. My stuff came. Of the 6 shooters we had there, 4 of them, their guns didn't arrive. And then you got to try to track it down. And well, it might come tomorrow. We don't know. They can't find it. Here's the number. Well, that's not your name's not on it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So corporate wise and a little further up the chain, it's broken. It is broken. Yeah. Luckily, we finally got everybody in and got guns and stuff, but it was a little nerve wracking. I thought I might be hunting by myself.
What do you know about? Well, that's for hunting guns, long guns. Yeah. What about bringing pistols into Canada? How do they feel about that?
That is a huge no. Not just kind of no, but hell no. I mean,
You know,
the guides out there aren't even allowed to have handguns.
well, but the long guns are more dangerous
Well,
than
they
the
get a lot of
handguns.
crazy liberals there too. In
Well,
fact, the chatter of the day between the guides is the fact that Canada is in the process of trying to ban semi-automatic shotguns because, quote unquote, they can easily convert it to automatic weapons.
really?
And I'm like, somebody needs to show me how you can easily convert a semi-automatic shotgun into an automatic weapon because I don't see it happening. The
Well,
amount of I mean, do you guys realize there's like 5 automatic shotguns in existence? They're all the size of a Volkswagen Bug. It's ridiculous.
yeah, a 50 round drum on your automatic, machine shotgun.
Yeah,
Y- You
just what
know,
I want to bear with.
for me personally, let's say you're talking about home defense, right?
Yep.
When I was in the Marines, we shot M16s. And, if you've never shot a machine gun before, they'll tell you, say, listen, there's going to be some muzzle lift on this. You need to lean forward and, put it in tight. But you always underestimate how much muzzle lift there really is on a
Yeah.
fully automatic, carbine. And I was no exception. It's like, man, I shot that thing and zip, get about 14 inches of muzzle rise on that thing.
That's the truth.
And they're fun. They're tons of fun, but it's not the tool that I want inside my home,
Oh no.
because I got my wife and 3 kids, and it's like, okay, how much drywall do you want to put up when you're done with your home defense
That's the truth too.
event?
That is so true. 'Cause the idea that you could just stand there like on TV and or the movies and shoulder that rifle and let a mag dump and you're not
Yeah.
moving it's just ridiculous. I mean, I'm not exactly slender petite little guy, and there's some guns that become a wrestling match when I unleash them.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, so what's next, Fred? What are you gonna hunt next?
I'm actually headed to Hawaii in November to hunt turkey.
Oh, stop it. Stop
I
it.
know. Go
I'm
ahead,
here
Hayden.
in Michigan all
I know.
year, Canada, Hawaii. Oh,
I am
man,
spoiled rotten. Like I said,
you are.
I may whine about my job occasionally, but I will never complain.
So what's going on in Hawaii?
Well, uh, the National Wildlife Turkey Federation has a rep there, and they are adamant about they love their Hawaiian turkey hunts. So
Huh.
get an invitation to come join them to hunt some turkeys and maybe some rams. We'll see. But the plan right now is to go over there and get myself a Hawaiian turkey and some pineapple, maybe.
Ah, what do they dress them up in, like hula skirts or something? Or
That's what I'm
what makes
imagining.
these turkeys so special?
I'll work on some Photoshop for you and get you the
Oh yeah,
perfect Hawaiian turkey.
that'd be great for a good meme
Oh
for your
yeah.
next article. Oh man, Hawaii. I knew that I'd heard that people like to go like pig hunting there
Oh
in
yeah.
Hawaii,
Yeah,
but
very much so. I would like to do a variety of hunting, but everything is so highly regulated over there. I mean,
mm,
a lot of people don't realize how regulated it is. It's almost absurd. In fact, we're not even bringing guns. The host is providing his guns because getting a gun into Hawaii is like getting a computer into communist China. I mean,
yeah.
it's not going to happen.
Oh,
It is
that's
not going to
sad.
happen.
That is sad.
Yeah,
Well, but hey, you're getting to go there, right?
that's exactly right. I'm actually from Hawaii, so it's a little bit of a return, a little bit of a head back home for a few days. So it'll be nice.
Not many people can say I'm from Hawaii.
Yeah, it's not a big place.
So when did you leave Hawaii?
Oh, I was a little tiny tyke. My dad was stationed there at
Ah,
Schofield Barracks on Oahu. So I was born there, and long before I could ever really remember being there, I was on my way to States.
well, if you have to go to Hawaii,
I
I mean,
guess twist my
turkey
arm.
hunting, it's a good deal.
Yeah, I got friends getting ready. They're planning on turkey hunting next year in South Dakota, and during that period, there's normally snow on the ground, and I'll be in shorts.
And so you're gonna like take a selfie and send it back to them so they can.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you're not gonna rub it in at all, though, are you,
Oh,
Fred?
no, not at all. These guys hunt turkey like mad. So I don't get the opportunity very often. So when I get to do it, I will definitely grab the opportunity. So I will definitely be rubbing in their faces.
Well, you are becoming so spoiled. You'll never hunt in Arizona again. It's just too
Well,
domestic.
actually, well, it's very, honestly, it's tough to get a tag in Arizona.
Are you
I put in for
serious?
elk. I put in for elk several times and never been drawn. I had a friend from out of state a couple times he's put in. Each time he put in, he got drawn, and I kind of got sour on it. And I'm pretty fortunate. So, like with the industry, I get to hunt quite a bit. But Texas is a great place to hunt. I've done several hunts out there. It's very enjoyable. But next year, so in 2026, I'm actually headed to Africa.
Oh,
I'm going to do a
nice.
plains. I'm going to do a plains game hunt for 6 days. And then a friend of mine, she's been over there multiple times, and she has a guide north of there, and we're going to do an actual in the bush mobile camp Cape buffalo hunt. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Have you picked out your rifle yet?
Yeah, I'm going to use a 375. That seems to be. I'm actually going to take 2 rifles. So 308 for the plains game. Yes, I'm an old FUD. I know that. Everybody's yelling 6.5. I know the 308 like mad. I can shoot it
Yeah.
in my sleep. I know the ballistics. I know everything about it. I feel absolutely confident in any shot I take with it. But for Cape Buffalo, I want to go with 375 because that's a school bus size animal, and I want to make sure I put several rounds in him. I'm not looking for the idea of being run over because I shot him with too small of a round.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay. I'm going to stop feeling sorry for you now.
Oh, you don't have to feel
Fred.
sorry for me.
Yeah. Fred, this is all great stuff. I'm going to have to live all of these things vicariously through you. So make sure you have a good time and write good articles about these hunts. Okay.
Oh, I certainly will. I certainly will.
All right. We're out of time now, Fred, but this has been fun. Tell people where they can go to learn more about you.
Well, for my writing, you go to Alpha Outdoors, alphaoutdoors.com. All my articles are up there, all the archives, everything there. Try to reach out to me. My website is forceoptionsusa.com and social media under Fred Mastison and Force Options. And I'd be glad and happy to visit with anybody.
All righty. Fantastic. Well, Fred, thank you very much for being on Home Defense Show today. We appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
All right, this is Skip Coryell on Home Defense Show. Coming up next, we'll have the shootingclasses.com self-defense report, where we get some expert advice on the details of self-defense. But during the break, I want you to log into rumble.com and search on the Home Defense Show. I posted a series of entertaining and educational videos there just for you. Check them out, and don't forget to like, share, and follow. God bless and stay safe, because we will be right back. Well, except for Fred. He's going to Hawaii. God bless and stay safe.
Firearms training should be easy. Instructors can focus on teaching and not worry about all the complex paperwork and management behind the scenes. Just pull the trigger and let us do the administrative work. Welcome to shootingclasses.com.
At Center Shot Gun Range, we are passionate about training. Don't know where to start? We offer a 1-hour new shooter seminar to introduce you to the world of firearms and help you find training opportunities specific to you. Concealed carry, home defense, firearm safety, AR-15, private one-on-one training, custom training, or maybe you're on a security team looking to protect your church or business. We even offer weekday morning and evening classes. Center Shot Gun Range has you covered. Start your journey at centershotgunrange.com.
Firearms training should be easy. Instructors can focus on teaching and not worry about all the complex paperwork and management behind the scenes. Just pull the trigger and let us do the administrative work. Welcome to shootingclasses.com.
Attention business owners. Are you leaving your website open to security issues and hacking due to a lack of maintenance or overseas outsourcing? Don't let that happen to your business. Choose experienced U.S.-based website developers that can customize your website to fit your specific needs. Appletree MediaWorks has been growing businesses online since 2009. With over 80 years of combined experience, Their team conducts constant research and development to keep up with ever-changing online threats. Your website deserves the best protection available. Call Appletree MediaWorks today at 877-977-1364 to keep your website secure and grow your business online. Or visit appletree.media.
Avoid danger, save lives, and keep your loved ones safe. If this sounds good to you, you sound good to me. And I'd like to help you do those things. Avoid danger, save lives, and keep your loved ones safe. If you're looking for more excitement in your life, we have nothing to offer you. But if you are a thoughtful, responsible, nonviolent man or woman, we'd love to teach you what to do if something crazy happens. More importantly, we'd like to teach you what not to do. We currently have over 500,000 members. They are doctors and single moms and firemen and grandmothers and veterans and Democrats and Republicans and members of every faith. But the one thing they all have in common is that they know exactly what to do if something crazy happens. When you're with one of our members, you are safe. Our members know how to de-escalate situations. They know how to calm things down. We are the United States Concealed Carry Association. See what we're all about at usconcealedcarry.com.
Discover the little-known backstory of the U.S. Concealed Carry Association at usconcealedcarry.com.
Liberals hate him, small children fear him, but God keeps on loving him anyway. Welcome back to the Home Defense Show with Skip Coryell.
And that was the beautiful and sultry voice of Golden Glenn, the official announcer of the Home Defense Show, and I'm your host, Skip Coryell. Don't forget to check out our sponsors, United States Concealed Carry Association, shootingclasses.com, Appletree Media, and Center Shot Indoor Gun Range for all your training and equipment needs. And now it's time for our weekly self-defense report, sponsored by shootingclasses.com. And today we're speaking with a very good friend of mine, Joel Fulton from Freedom Firearms in Battle Creek, Michigan. Joel, welcome back to the Home Defense Show.
Good morning, Skip. It's always good to be here.
Yes, it is. And you're down in Missouri right now, just enjoying the hot, muggy weather. Is that it?
It's actually pretty cool and pleasant this morning, and I'm sitting on the front porch and enjoying the farm, and as soon as we're done here, then I'll get to work.
That's a dog's life, isn't it?
It's terrible, isn't it?
Okay. Well, today, let me see, I'm going to get done here with you, and then I'm going to do a little bit of weeding in the garden. The weeds are getting the best of me, and then I'll go swimming. I've been swimming like 3 days a week locally here, trying to get back in shape, and after that, I'm going to get ready for a class tomorrow. I've got like an advanced pistol class tomorrow morning in Hastings. So, hey, it's
nice.
It's busy, but it's fun. I'm having a good time myself.
You're going to be at the range up right around the corner from the fish hatchery area?
Yeah, Berry County Conservation Club. That's where I'll be. It's a nice club.
I've been there several times.
Yeah, well, they fixed it up quite a bit in the last 5 years. I think they have like 15 pistol bays now, all the U-shaped berms and everything. It's really nice.
Oh, yeah, it's way nicer than when we were there with Rob Pincus.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, we had a good time that weekend.
You shot fairly decent for a Marine.
Well, for a man of my advancing years, I did, yes. Oh, you're always good for a laugh at my expense. So that's good, Joel. All right, Joel. We've got a self-defense scenario in the form of an article here, and this is from San Antonio. I'm going to go ahead and read it, and then you are going to break it down and analyze it for me. So here we go. It says, homeowner shoots alleged trespasser in the chest after she refused to leave his property. A woman is in critical condition after being shot in the chest when she wouldn't leave a homeowner's property, according to police. At about 11:30 a.m. Saturday, police were called to Bradford Street, where they found a woman shot. Police say that the homeowner in his mid-30s was working on his car when he noticed an unknown 45-year-old woman walk quickly toward his property along with two men. At some point, the two men left. The homeowner told police the woman doesn't live in the neighborhood and that he had frequently seen her picked up and dropped off by several guys every now and again. He said that sometimes he sees her looking at people's yards. This made the homeowner think that the woman was a burglar or thief, according to police. The man reportedly asked the woman, "What are you doing on my yard?" He said she ignored his question. The homeowner then went to the door and got out a gun. He told her to get off his property. The woman refused, according to police, and started shouting. That's when the homeowner fired one shot at the woman, hitting her in the chest. The woman ran over to a nearby house to get help. That's where police found her when they arrived. She was taken to the hospital in critical condition. At last check, she is still in critical. Later on, police announced that the homeowner, identified as Jonathan Vasquez, has been arrested and charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. All right. Well, that's what we know about this particular event. What are your initial thoughts here, Joel?
Well, I mean, kind of like that movie in A Few Good Men when Tom Cruise is questioning Colonel Jessup, and Colonel Jessup said, "I thought he was in danger." Tom Cruise says, "Grave danger." And Colonel Jessup says, "Is there any other kind?" And the fact of the matter is, yeah, there's a lot of different kinds of danger. Mm-hmm. And this guy, while he might have sensed danger, while he might have sensed, hey, this isn't right, I don't like this going on in my neighborhood, hey, I don't want to be victimized later because they're scoping me out, it's not imminent. And the only time that you're going to be justified in the use of deadly force is if that danger is imminent. And that means it's happening right now. In fact, it's such a certainty that it's going to happen that unless you do something to change the circumstances, the event is going to occur. It doesn't mean it's going to happen tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, or decade from now. It has to be happening right now. And unfortunately for him, there's no way for him to articulate imminence when he went to his door, got a gun from inside the house, apparently, or near the house, and then went back and confronted the woman and shot her.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
yeah.
That doesn't even begin to cover disparity of force and everything else that we discuss in class.
Oh, yeah.
He's a mid-30s guy, a 45-year-old woman, the age disparity, your person that you supposedly is a threat to you is older than you. Yeah. You're a man, she's a woman, another disparity of force. And the fact of the matter is, you shouldn't have had to resort to a weapon and deadly force for that.
Yeah. Well, part of the thing is that he had so many other options that he could have chosen. But, after reading this article and a couple others about the incident, I came away thinking this guy really believes that he did the right thing and that he was justified under the law in doing this. And that just reminds me how little the average person knows about, deadly force laws in their state.
And it's a terrible misunderstanding of the law. It's a lack of training. And that's why training is really so important. Now, do I think constitutional carry is the ideal for states? I absolutely do. But once you have constitutional carry, you generally remove the requirement for training. I think people should be responsible and go get training on their own. He had a lot of other options. He could have used his cell phone camera and started recording people. That will deter people much quicker sometimes than even the firearm's going to. Obviously, she didn't believe he was going to shoot her.
Yeah, because she walked towards him. Yeah, there's so many other things that he could have done.
Dial 911, start recording the incident, all those things. He retreated to safety. He got to his door. He could have gone inside, locked the door if he thought he was in mortal danger. But he didn't believe any of those things. He just believed he was justified in shooting somebody. And to me, that shows somewhat a lack of respect for human life.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. He went to his door. He got a gun. It would have been so much easier just to step inside the door, lock the door, and do what you said. I mean, go ahead, record it with video, call 911, and let the cops come and do their job. He wouldn't be in prison right now if he'd done that.
Right. Now, I'm not going to disagree with him. He calls the cops and probably nothing happens. Because
Yeah.
Right. And as private citizens, that's frustrating for us because have they committed a crime? Nope. They're just walking around and they're just scoping stuff out, and the police are going to scurry them along and they'll be back later.
Yeah.
And you'll
Well,
call the cops, and now they're going to be ticked at you, and now they'll target you. So I get his anger and frustration, but at the same time, do you want to go to prison or do you want to be around for your family?
yeah. Good points. What do you think about the concept of some type of less than lethal used on a trespasser who won't leave your property?
And those are options that a lot of people advocate for, and I don't disagree with those. Whether it be taser, stun gun, I think are legal in Texas. I don't know that for sure. Certainly pepper spray. Spice them up a little bit.
Well, yeah, and this was what, a 45-year-old woman against
Correct.
what, like a guy, I think it was 33.
33. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, you could have done so many other things here, and if you had, you wouldn't be in prison right now. This
100%.
guy, this guy
And
ruined his life.
he did. And he was out working on his car. He's obviously capable. He's not, an invalid. It doesn't look like he's handicapped or any other kind of restriction on his physical ability. I'm guessing probably a fairly solid guy at 33, and you've got a 45-year-old woman. Head to head, toe to toe, who should win?
Yeah, for sure. Now you mentioned constitutional carry, a few minutes ago, and I struggle with that, Joel. Because I'm a Second Amendment activist, constitutionalist, but I'm also a trainer, firearms trainer, and I don't understand why people will not get the training unless they're forced by the government to do that. I do not understand that. It makes no sense to me.
I understand. I agree the same way. But I'm not saying that they don't get training. They may not just get official training through somebody that's a professional. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day, we learned how to drive without driver's training, right?
That's true. But learning the law is, basically, because you got two things you have to learn. You have to learn, how to use the gun, which takes quite a bit of time. But then you have to learn when you're allowed to use the gun, which is, that's a little more elaborate. You have to understand all these statutes and things like that written in legalese. But again, it's
as
not rocket
constitutional
science.
carry comes about, I think that's probably where you get to the point where it's incumbent on people who are in the firearms industry, whether it be training, selling guns, etc., to do the proper marketing to make sure people understand what they need. Because some people don't know what they need. So you need to
Yeah.
make sure they understand what they need as far as training and understanding things, because people don't know what they don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things in my classes that I'll talk about, I'll give them certain scenarios. Okay, you're in a gas station or whatever, and a guy comes in with a gun, and it's like they really have no idea, if they're legally available to use a deadly force, or worse yet, they're convinced that they know and they're wrong. That is even worse
Yes.
than not knowing.
And these are all, I tell people in the class, look, where are you at most often? Do you utilize the same gas station? Do you utilize the same convenience store? Hence the name convenient. I
Yeah.
would think so. So have a plan.
Yeah.
When's the last time you walked in there and cased it out in reverse? If something bad were going to happen, this is where it's probably going to start. This is where it's going to culminate at. Where am I usually at? Where are my exits? Where is my cover? If I can be, maybe I just want to be a good witness. I mean, I got to be honest with you. I mean, I probably like my convenience store clerk. I probably know them by name, but I don't think they're going to contribute to my legal defense fund.
Probably not. You're
So
right.
they should have saved their own money, and whether that's $149 or I don't know what Skip's charging these days, but gone and taken a class and gotten their own concealed carry permit and been responsible for their own safety, because that's not my responsibility.
Yeah.
I'm here to protect me. Now, if that guy shoots the clerk, I have to believe that he ain't going to leave witnesses.
Well, yeah. Once you shoot one, it's, shoot one, get one free.
Correct.
Yeah.
They can't imprison you any longer for shooting two than you did for shooting one.
That's right. That's right. Well, so what are if you sum up the takeaways here, what are the takeaways, Joel?
Well, I think the takeaways on the whole is, first and foremost, you want to make sure that if you've got a firearm and you're carrying on a regular basis, that one, you're getting your training. If you're a constitutional carry state, get the training. If you've got a CPL license in a state where they require that, you probably already got your initial training. You've got your initial training. Understand that initial 6, 8 hours, 10 hours, whatever your state requires, is probably not enough. That is simply a taste and a beginning. You need to continue your training. If you are carrying a gun, you should have a backup. And I'm not talking about a backup gun. I'm talking about something that's going to continue to educate you and protect you, such as one of your sponsors, the United States Concealed Carry Association, because they're going to help you get additional training. They're going to put you through some of those scenarios. They're going to send you to a range. They're going to give you things to work through, and you're going to continue your training. There's nothing better than working through that, especially the mental aspect and the fact that they're going to cover you financially and have your back if an incident happens, so you can keep your mouth shut and stay out of prison.
Yeah, because every once in a while, people make bad decisions. So I know I certainly have. Right.
Well, I'm on my third marriage, so I've made bad decisions at least twice.
Well, welcome to the third marriage club there, Joel. But you're happy now, aren't you?
Oh, I'm delightedly happy. She's far better than I serve. I married way up.
Well, it is. Well, you know that I did too. I mean, even in baseball, you get 3 strikes.
Right.
All right. Well,
So
Joel,
I feel like on this third one, I knocked it out of the park.
that's, you did, Joel, and you did. All right. Well, hey, Joel, we will let you get back to your dog's life down there. But before you go, tell people how they can get in contact with Freedom Firearms.
Yeah, Freedom Firearms is right down in Battle Creek, Michigan at 539 Capitol Avenue Southwest. Telephone number 269-968-4229. Or you can visit us online and do some online shopping at www.freedomfirearms-online.com. Our regular website with all of our training information is freedomfirearms.biz. And we're always happy to help out. We love having the folks come in, and it is always a joy to interact with people in the Second Amendment community.
All right. Well, Joel, thank you very much for being on the Home Defense Show today.
Thanks, Skip. It's always good to be here.
All right, folks, I've written 20 plus books, and they're all available on Amazon.com in paperback, ebook, and audiobook. This week, check out my book, The Mad American. It's a 3-book adventure series about the end of the world as we know it. And also check out the Home Defense Show videos on rumble.com. And if you want training from me in person, then check out Midwest Tactical Training at shootingclasses.com. Please join us again next week for all your home defense needs. In the meantime, God bless and stay safe.
Thank you for joining us this week on the Home Defense Show. Now, get out there and protect the ones you love. We'll see you next week with more of the best.
Bye-bye, boys!
Have fun storming the castle!